The S23 Ultra is quite literally around the corner, and man, I cannot be any more excited. We know quite a lot more about the next iteration of the Ultra lineup, and today I cannot wait to dive in just a little bit more and talk about what's to come. In the last video, we confirmed that the S23 Ultra will be getting a global launch of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip, and while it still hasn't officially been announced by Samsung, we're only a couple of weeks away from the actual event. And apparently, according to pretty much every leaker out there, there is no Exynos variant of the S23 Ultra. So starting this video off on a high note, if you like good news, why don't you go ahead and leave a like on this video. We're trying to hit 12,000 subscribers by February, so subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, do what you need to do. I would really appreciate that. Anyway, some more news about the S23 Ultra has come out. There appears to be 4 launch colors: a beige, a pink, a green, and a phantom black. Though there's no word on whether or not any of these colors will be Samsung exclusive or not. If I had to make a guess, it would be the pink one, as we've seen the burgundy one be the Samsung exclusive for quite some time with the S22 Ultra. But who knows? These 4 might as well just be off-the-shelf colors. We have no idea. Though I want to ask your opinion. What are your thoughts on Samsung going with the beige color over a white device on the S23 Ultra and S23 series of devices? I think the beige looks really nice, and on the Fold 4 we didn't really have a white option. Now, the Fold was a premium looking phone, and those gold accents really brought it to light, but I think a lot of people like having that standard white or silver option to choose from. I think in this lineup, tons of people are gonna just be going with the phantom black, but who knows. Personally, I actually would have really liked to see the graphite come back from the S22 Ultra, or even that sky blue color that we've seen last year, because sky blue and graphite were some of my favorite colors, but I never actually had my hands on them because they were those special order colors that you needed to get from the Samsung store. I think Samsung is really good at making standout colors, but they always save the best devices for their Samsung.com exclusive orders for some reason. Like, if we have a sky blue S23 Ultra as a device that you could just walk into a store and buy, I feel like it will sell really well. Moving on though. The 128GB version of the S23 Ultra was officially axed. Thank God. However, there will still be an 8GB RAM version with 256GB SSD version of the S23 Ultra available, which is just really annoying. So if you don't know, Samsung does this thing sometimes where they ship devices with a lower amount of RAM, and they do this on their base storage configuration. They did this last year with the S22 Ultra, and they're doing it again this year. Basically, this year they will be shipping an 8GB RAM, 256GB storage configuration, and then on top of that, you will have 12GB of RAM in the other storage configurations. I think at the end of the day, this is an easier pill to swallow, knowing that we aren't getting boned with the 128GB version, but it's still really annoying at this price point, and we'll get to that at the end of the video. However, when it comes to the memory inside of the phone, both the 8GB and 12GB versions of the device are going to be using DDR5X instead of DDR5, which is going to be giving a huge performance increase, speculated to be up to 1.5 times faster, which we'll have to wait and see benchmarks on these specific devices. But if that is the case, that is a huge performance increase. And honestly, at that speed, the capacity might not be that big of a hit, to be completely honest with you. But we'll just have to wait and see, like I said, to get these devices in our hands. I'm just glad that we're not getting boned with the 128GB storage capacity, because that would be a real shame, like I said, at that price, which we'll get into at the end of the video. To me, it just sucks that Samsung is still cutting corners, especially when they're bringing some savings by reusing the chassis from the S22 Ultra. However, when it comes to the storage option for the S22 Ultra, the phone is going to be using Universal Flash Storage 4.0, or UFS 4.0. UFS 4.0 is expected to increase the storage speed of the S23 Ultra by up to 46%. Now, UFS 4.0 is a pretty big leap in the storage space on this device, and it's actually a pretty big deal. Now, what that allows the phone to do though is not only just read and write quicker, but the time saved in reading and writing and the extra load that it's taking off of the CPU, the memory controller, and everything else that the phone is doing is also going to save you battery. So not only is the chip going to be faster, the chip is going to be more efficient, you know, you're going to have UFS 4.0, but all of this stuff in combination should make the phone a lot better when it comes to battery life. So everything coming into fruition with the S23 Ultra, it should make the phone honestly a lot better on paper at least. So we're gonna have to wait and see how well this phone actually does when it comes to battery life, because we've been told these things before and we've been heavily disappointed. But as it seems right now with all of this new tech in the space, I'm really excited to see how well the S23 Ultra is actually going to hold up in my day-to-day, because this phone is looking like a tank and I'm really excited to start to get to use it. I'm just really excited for this phone. I'm actually really hyped. But the reason all of this news and more is coming to light though is because Samsung Colombia accidentally leaked the Galaxy Unpacked event on their website a tad early, showcasing the February 1st, 2023 event date. Though reports are saying that the S23 series could actually go on sale just as early as a week after the event in February. And personally, I would love to see that because I'm super excited to get my hands on these devices, especially that S23 Ultra. I've been trying really hard to get my hands on the Oppo Find N2 for you guys, but being in Canada, stuff like that is really difficult, especially importing these phones. So it's been really hard to make content about specific devices. It just sucks. It sucks because nothing new has been out and it's just been a very boring process. I just really want to try out another device, and the S23 Ultra is just one of those phones that I can not only see myself just making a few videos on, but really see myself genuinely using, and not only using, but actually carrying, and it being my daily driver, like actually taking out every other phone that I use in my day-to-day life, because I loved the S22 Ultra, but there were just some things that that phone couldn't keep up with, and that was mainly the battery life. That was a huge problem for me because in my day-to-day, I found that being a huge problem. There were some days with that phone that I wasn't able to push more than 4.5 hours of screen on time. And there are going to be people that contest to that, but all I'll say is go on r/S22 Ultra on Reddit and you will see that it is a huge problem. I'm not here to like dwindle on other people's experiences and stuff like that. If you have a good experience with a device, that is perfectly fine, but that is my experience, and I come to this channel and I just speak my honest truth. I'm not here to rip on a device because that was, in my opinion, a perfect phone aside from that. One problem like that and it keeps it out of my pocket for me. There's just things like that it really sucks, but the S23 Ultra is shaping up to be quite literally the phone that stays in my pocket, and I'm super excited for the S23 Ultra. It's one of the reasons why I keep making these videos, because it makes the time just absolutely pass by. Now, the price with the S23 Ultra though is what scares me, because according to a lot of speculation, it's going to be releasing at about $1,200 US for that 8GB 256 gig variant. Now, that's expensive because that's the base model with 8 gigs of RAM. I do believe that's the same price that the S22 Ultra launched with last year, so it's not necessarily a shocker, but that is just speculation, and there are people saying that it could potentially be more expensive, especially considering that we're somewhat in a recession and the parts that are being put into this phone are somewhat in very high demand, are in limited quantities, and they're a very hot commodity. Now, I'm not going to defend that price tag, but I've spent a lot of money on smartphones this year, and a lot of them turned out to not really be worth it. The S22 Ultra was one of those phones that was worth that price tag. It ended up being one of the most versatile phones that I've ever used. It had one of the best displays in a smartphone. It was just one of those phones that really blew me away, and it was worth it. Aside from the battery, aside from that being a concern for me, it was one of those devices that I really felt the premium, the quality, everything about it blew me away. And when it comes to the S23 Ultra, paying the same amount for a device that is essentially going to be tenfold, I can't see myself going wrong with that. Now, the thing about Samsung that you have to keep in mind is that when you pre-order a Samsung device, pretty much everything is going to be a pre-order bonus, an add-in. Everything is going to be on sale, essentially. When I got the Z Fold, they basically added in a watch, they added in earbuds, they gave me a discount, a trade-in promo. So everything when it came to the Fold was like half off or free or bundled in. So if you're looking at getting the S23 Ultra, I would highly recommend looking at it from Samsung.com and doing it pre-order, because you're going to be getting a bundle essentially and paying like a lot less, or even if you're not paying less, you're going to get a lot of free stuff bundled in that you can essentially just sell on the side and make your money back. Samsung is really weird and basically just gives you stuff and you basically just get a ton of stuff for free. I don't really understand how it works, but that's just them. Expensive phones, but they just give it away like hotcakes. Anyways though, let me know in the comments down below if you're excited for the S23 Ultra. I know I am. I feel like I said that 1,000 times, but I'm hyped. I'm just really curious to see what you all think about it. I don't know, I feel like I could be missing the mark. Am I missing something that is just absolutely terrible about this device and everyone hates it or something? Because I've kind of been a little MIA. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next one. Let me know what you all think, and peace out.